in from the state of Tamil Nadu, where the tussle over the leadership within the AIADMK party continues, with the EPS versus OPS only waging on by the day. Now, the latest is that, in fact, OPS is holding a separate meeting at the AIADMK office in Chennai, and in fact, a large number of supporters of the OPS camp have gathered outside the office, raising slogans and calling for unitary leadership. Now, the supporters of OPS are asserting, they're raising slogans that they want OPS as their single leader. Remember, there has been an ongoing tussle over the dual leadership, and this, as we speak, is in connection with the fight for Jayalalitha's legacy, as the tussle over leadership continues in the AIADMK party, with EPS versus OPS only escalating by the day. Now, as per reports, in fact, the majority of the chief secretaries, majority of the leaders within the party, in fact, want Edapati Palaniswamy, the former Tamil Nadu chief minister, as their single unitary leader. Meanwhile, there's also another faction that is okay with the idea of having the two leaders as their leaders inside the party. So clearly one faction that in fact is more inclined towards having EPS as their leader. Then there's another faction that wants both the leaders to continue leading the party. Meanwhile, we also have OPS camp, where the supporters of OPS have in fact right now gathered in large numbers outside the AIADMK office in Chennai, where they're raising slogans and shouting that they want OPS as their single leader. Remember, the party's legislative council meet is in fact also scheduled on June 23, and in fact we're getting to know that right now the meet that is being held by OPS at the AIADMK office in Chennai, the focus of the meet is actually to decide the resolutions that are to be passed on the June 23 council meet. And I'm being joined by my colleague Dharani live on the broadcast. Dharani, what's the action like outside the AIADMK office in Chennai? We know that right now, in fact, OPS is holding a separate meeting and his supporters have gathered in large numbers outside the office. So what exactly does the action look like, the mood look like outside the AIADMK office in Chennai?
Well, right from morning, both EPS and OPS, they were holding, meetings separately at their residences with senior members of the party. So after that, right now, there's this executive members meeting going on in the headquarters of the AIADMK here. So we are standing in front of the office right now. So OPS has come to this meeting, so he's inside this office attending the executive members meeting. EPS hasn't come yet, only OPS came to attend this meeting. So meanwhile, hundreds of supporters, AIADMK supporters, they gathered in front of the AIADMK office here and they started rising slogans that OPS is the permanent leader of AIADMK. So most of them, they seem to be the supporters of OPS, to be precise. So they were standing here and they started rising slogans and chanting slogans that they want OPS to be the permanent leader of AIADMK. So this tussle, it's been going on for 5 days now. For the fifth consecutive day, both OPS and EPS, they are holding meetings separately at their respective residences with senior members of the party. So in fact, the senior leaders, they are juggling between EPS and OPS residences. They meet EPS and then suddenly they go to OPS house. They're juggling between EPS and OPS residences, but no conclusion has been arrived at yet. The meetings are continuously going on for the 5th day today, but no conclusion has been arrived at yet. So as we already know, OPS has made it very clear that he wants the dual leadership to continue and that he doesn't want the single leadership in the party. And he is also told that he is ready to talk to EPS regarding this issue. But until this point in time, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from the EPS camp. The EPS camp is remaining silent on this issue. They haven't come out and told their stand or their opinion on this. So only if we get to hear from EPS, we will be finally able to ascertain if AIADMK is heading towards single leadership or not. So right now the situation here is that hundreds of AIADMK supporters, they have come in front of the AIADMK headquarters and they are rising slogans seeking OPS to be the permanent leader of the AIADMK party. So if EPS is also coming to this particular spot, we can expect the EPS supporters also to come here and raise such slogans. So that's the situation here.
All right, Dharani, we know that in fact a very crucial party meet is scheduled on the June 23, and right now in fact, as per reports, OPS is also holding discussions over the resolutions that are set to be passed on June 23 meet. So what can be expected?
Well, this executive members meeting that's happening right now, it is about the resolutions that are to be passed in the council meeting on 23rd. So that's what is being discussed inside this office right now. Senior members of the party, they have come together and they are discussing about the resolutions that are to be passed in the general council meeting on 23rd of June. So if at all, if AIADMK is heading towards single leadership, a resolution has to be passed on the 23rd of June, and both the coordinator and the joint coordinator, they have to sign the papers for that. But when we talk to the EPS camp, they are telling that they will not sign any paper. So even if a resolution is attempted to be passed on the 23rd of June regarding the single leadership, we think that the OPS camp will not support it, and the resolution might not be passed finally, because for a resolution to be passed, both the coordinator and the joint coordinator has to sign the papers. But we learned that the OPS is not ready to sign the papers, so the resolution is most unlikely to be passed. But however, the talks are going on, and if a compromise is attained between EPS and OPS before the 23rd council meeting, we can expect a resolution to be passed. So that's what the ground situation here is.
All right, Dharani, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. So high voltage drama continues in the state of Tamil Nadu, where the tussle, the whole row over who is going to be the next quote-unquote single leader of the AIADMK party continues.